Do you remember 1990? Gen Xers are gonna hate this, but it was a long time ago. Lexus was new, so was Miata. The same with the Acura NSX. It was an everyday supercar that was so user-friendly it could have only come from Honda. It came from a golden era of Japanese supercars, and that was more than 25 years ago. Now, after what feels like a lifetime of waiting, we finally have a new Acura NSX. And it's a car that looks way into the future to recharge a nameplate today. Hi, I'm not Nostradamus. I'm Aaron Cole, but we are gonna look into that future and we're gonna talk about the new Acura NSX. Fully 4 years in the making, the new Acura NSX finally arrived to owners' patient hands in the spring. And while that makes this car new on paper, the Acura NSX is the car that we feel familiar with. It made the rounds in auto shows and on magazine covers for years, a concept car with multiple generations. The styling borrows heavily from the Ferrari 458 Italia and Audi R8, without aping it. Aerodynamics mandate the big air intakes up front and the way the side mirrors distance themselves from the body, a la Ferrari. Where NSX engineers cloak the air paths at the hood line and in the car's haunches, that's where we see Audi and Lamborghini most. It's every bit of the supercar look, but it's what's under here that makes it an everyday car. After fits and starts from Acura for years, what showed up was a twin turbocharged V6 married to an advanced hybrid system that puts out 573 horsepower. It's technology found in million-dollar hypercars like the Porsche 918 and McLaren P1 at a fraction of the cost. The new NSX is an all-wheel drive hybrid with a 75-degree longitudinal V6 that makes 500 horsepower by itself. The engine has both direct and port injection, the latter for high-end fuel delivery. The turbos run at 15.2 psi and make a fantastic noise. The engine is planted over the car's rear axle. A 4-pack of lithium-ion battery units, about 72 cells in all, sits ahead of the engine. Behind it, there's a direct drive motor that adds 47 horsepower to the net output, charges the battery pack, and smooths out shifts. At the back end of the drivetrain, there's a 9-speed dual clutch transmission and a limited slip differential to tame all that power. Ahead of the batteries, down the console spine of the car, Acura wedges in a power drive unit that choreographs the handoff of power from the batteries to a pair of front motors. Each kicks in about 36 horsepower and 54 pound-feet maximum torque to individual front wheels. The car can run under light loads on that power alone, or can continuously shift power between the front motors to give the NSX torque vectoring control. So what's it like behind the wheel? Push the start button to bring the NSX to life and the supercar calls up all of the wonderful memories of the first generation car. It's fluid, fast, fun, and even tempered. A healthy dose of ripe intake sounds permeates the cabin because Acura set up the plumbing that way. Much of the rest of the NSX is to damp out non-essential noise. We call it selectively amplified rather than artificial. It also requires a selective memory to take the Acura up to its superlative speed. The NSX demands a different line than rear-drive supercars. It's all-wheel drive, so like Lamborghinis and Audi R8s, it defeats sloppy driving. The trade-off is in the form of precision. Engaging torque vectoring from the front wheels rewards early corner entries. Roll onto the throttle and unwind the wheel, and the limited slip differential in the rear brings the back end into line. Get it wrong and the NSX chides you with a stiff correction back into grip, something we don't like to repeat over and over again. Early spins from others faulted the car for understeer. That's largely due to cold standard issue Continental tires. Indeed, those aren't the best tires for extracting every bit of performance from the NSX. Use the Pirellis instead, which we discovered whipping the NSX around thermal for a day. That's a $1,960 option. Carbon ceramic brakes are $9,900 more. Add touches from the carbon fiber fairy, and one could easily add 20 grand to the bottom line. You can see where we're going with this. That brings the $157,800 base NSX breathtakingly close to $200,000 for a final product we've been eager to get our hands on for a long time. Its advanced technology is the stuff from hyper-expensive hypercars, the first to trickle down from those million-dollar milestones. In that way, it's a true technological achievement from Acura and a true halo car for the brand. If the future's truly electric though, we can't help but wonder how long this hybrid NSX is going to stay relevant before fondly fading into the future like the other ones did. We choose to live in the present. Someone smart said that, I think. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Thanks for watching.